Hi guys, so today I'm going to show you how to make these cheesy cheddar garlicky biscuits for yourself or for your family. So you're going to start off with 1 3/4 cup unbleached flour or regular flour. Use what you have, okay? Then I'm going to go in with 1 tablespoon plus 2 teaspoons baking powder to add it to that mixture, and I'm using a food processor to mix that all, okay? Then I'm going to go in with 2 1/2 teaspoon sugar and then 1/4 teaspoon salt. I'm just gonna pulse that a couple of times to make sure that's all mixed in together. You can definitely use a spatula in a bowl to do this. So before you start adding in wet products, you want to mix this all up with your spatula if you're just using a bowl, okay? Now I'm gonna go in with 3 tablespoons vegetable shortening, and it's at room temperature. I usually get this in like a huge tub kind of container, and I rarely use it, so this is a recipe where I get to use it. I'm also going to add in 4 tablespoons butter. It can be cold, okay? You want it to be cold, not frozen, just cold. And I'm just going to add that in there, and I'm just going to pulse this a few times just to get the butter and the shortening down to pea-size chunks. Now I'm going to go in, after pulsing that a few times, I'm going to go in with 3/4 cup whole milk. You can use 1%, 2%, depending on what you want, okay? But I'm using whole milk, and I'm just using my 1/4 cup measure to do that. If you don't have a 3/4 cup measure, just use the 1/4 3 times. So that's 3/4, okay? And I'm just going to pulse that just a bit, just to bring it all in together. All right, you guys, this is completely optional. You can use 1 cup pre-grated cheddar cheese, or you can go with a block of cheese, which I'm doing, and I'm using about half of the block, okay, to add this cheese into my biscuits. I prefer not to go with the pre-shredded anymore because of some of the ingredients that they put in there just to keep the shredded cheese free flowing, so it kind of freaks me out a bit. So I'm just gonna grate this cheese, by hand and add it in. So I use about half. That's my daughter stealing cheese, little mouse. Okay, so that's how it looks. And I feel as though it tastes so much better, you guys. It has such a fresher taste when you grate the cheese by hand. So I'm just gonna add that in there. If you want, you can add the cheese in before you add in the milk. This will kind of help coat the cheese with some flour, and then you can add in the milk, but it's totally up to you, however you feel comfortable doing this, okay? So I'm just gonna pulse that maybe 3 to 4 times. I don't want to cut up the cheese. I just want to kind of lightly combine it. I do not want everything to be overly mixed. You do not want to overwork this, okay? Now I'm gonna flour my clean countertop. The flour will help keep the biscuit dough mixture from sticking to your counter, and it will also help make it a bit easier for you to work the dough into a kind of loaf shape. Okay, it's gonna make it just a bit easier. You can add just a bit more flour to it to help keep it from sticking to your hands and everything else. All right, but you do not want to overwork it. As you guys can see, I'm just shaping it into a kind of loaf. All right, I'm not mashing it up or kneading it or anything like that. I'm just kind of shaping it out into a loaf shape or weird round shape. Okay, and I'm just gonna flatten it out just a bit, and then I'm gonna go in with my rolling pin and roll it really gently to about an inch thick in thickness. I don't want it super thin, so an inch in thickness. You can do a half an inch if you want smaller biscuits, but I'm doing it to an inch in thickness. Right, once I have that done, I'm going to use this glass. You can use whatever glass you have. If you want to make smaller biscuits, use a smaller glass. If you want bigger biscuits, use a bigger glass. Totally up to you. I'm using this one. It's a perfect size because when the biscuits bake, they make like nice sandwich size biscuits. My cast iron is what I'm using to bake my biscuits in. I feel as though it gives it a really nice kind of texture on the bottom. By the way, if your oven is not preheated, make sure you go and preheat your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, and that's where I'm just going to place all the biscuits and the big one in the middle for me. Okay, and just bake for 15 to 20 minutes or until golden brown. And this is how they look. Aren't they gorgeous, you guys? I love it when they stick together like that. If you don't want to like separate it, you can put it on a plate like that and apply this butter garlic sauce that I'm showing you how to make right now. You're going to need about 3 tablespoons of butter and two if needed, and you're going to microwave it for about 20 to 25 seconds, depending on the setting on your microwave. And you're just going to use the top layer of butter. You do not want that water on the bottom. You know, a lot of butter contains water, and if you just melt it and use that right over the biscuit, it's going to make your biscuits very, very soggy and make them taste super weird. Okay, so you want to separate that yellow golden delicious part. Okay, and then now I'm gonna go in with some parsley. I love parsley, so I use a lot of it. You do not have to use all of it. You can use all of this. You can use about a teaspoon, and I'm probably using about a good 2 tablespoons worth of parsley. Okay, and I'm just gonna chop that up or cut that up as fine as I can get it, and then add it into my butter. And I went ahead and melted the extra 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm separating it and adding it into the previous butter that we melted with the parsley, just to kind of give it just a bit more blending room. That's what I'm gonna call it, blending room. Okay, because the parsley did take over that butter. It was just so much. I do love parsley, so I didn't care, but my kids, they like butter. So now I'm gonna add in about a half teaspoon of garlic powder, and I'm just gonna give that a good mix. You want to make sure there's no chunks or lumps in there from that garlic powder. Okay, and then I'm gonna go over all of the biscuits. Well, just a few for this video because the other biscuits were used for lunch for my kids the next day. So if you wanna, use the biscuits another day, you might not want to put the garlic sauce butter on them because it's gonna kind of take away from the texture. So just keep whatever you have left in a bowl, and when you're ready to eat the next day, warm it up and toss it over your biscuits, and you're good to go. All right, so I just did these three so you guys could see, and my big one because I wanted to eat it so bad. I was ready. All right, you guys, I am very, very happy with how these came out. I did them actually earlier the same day, and I was in a rush, okay, and I cut up my parsley so huge and I just kind of tossed them on there, but I'm so happy how these came out, just gorgeous. If you want, you can take out the whole kind of biscuit thing and put it in a tray and then put the garlic butter on it and just have everyone pull it apart. I think it will look so beautiful in the center of a table. But this is how they finally look. Absolutely delicious. My kids love them. This is something I'll probably have to make once a month because too much of this can make you gain a little weight. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you share this video and subscribe to my cooking channel. I love you all and enjoy your eating. Bye guys.